whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, Gavin.Rich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel GBoot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Hi, I'm attorney Gavin in New York. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why a trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. This fall in
Ladies and gentlemen, what's up, what's up, what's up? The place to be is right here with me. It is Random Topic Thursdays on channel GBoot2786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we shall discuss the following. Man who murdered the wife of Clarence Avant, a.k.a. the Black Godfather, sentenced to 190 years to life in prison. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, what men can learn from this situation. Dwayne Wade's daughter and her new boyfriend. I am the only one confused. And also, operator error suspected in the death of teenager at Orlando theme park. Join us, ladies and gentlemen. Now, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button on this channel. If you go support this channel by to our Cash App at the links at the bottom, you have GavinRichardEsq's Cash App, ladies and gentlemen, as well as the Google Pay and PayPal. It's the same as the email. If you want to hit me up through Zelle, that's fine as well. You can also, as we saw on earlier in our brand, join our Patreon. Also, I need you to go to @CommonwealthCause on Facebook and subscribe to get latest updates on the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the destruction of due process in the United States. And also support our Creole seasoning blend, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, since it is Random Talk Thursdays, that only means one thing. We have bring on our special guest, our brother and author of Stop Simping in Cyberspace on Amazon. Sir.
I'm good. How are you?
That's good, brother. Why don't you do a plug-in right now before we play the music?
All right. The SJS Direct 2022 books are now available on Amazon.com in paperback. And you can pick up ISIS, Legacy, and Eastern Horror of the Hyena Woman on Amazon.com right now in paperback. And you can also pre-order Eastern Horror of the Hyena Woman that's coming to Kindle on May 13th.
That's cool. That's cool. And now, ladies and gentlemen, also, you're going to go to YouTube and look at the first episode of Unsolved Mysteries that Albert Lanier and I did, talking about the murder of Malcolm X. That is available right now on channel GBoot2786 at GBoot2786. You don't want to miss that. It's a very eye-opening episode, ladies and gentlemen, of the first of our podcast. And now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, as far as music goes, we have Video Soul, which is one of my songs that's available on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. And of course, our theme song is back, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get on up, because before we get on down, why don't we boogie and get on up? So I'm going to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and get the party started.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat. Cause on the dance floor is where we live. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Right now the party's wasted. But once the groove gets, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. You're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken heart. When the rhythm takes hold, there's one thing left to do, cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving, gotta get on up. It's time to feel your body moving, gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whistle. Turn back.
electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. There's only one thing left to do. Something you gotta get on up. And cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something and feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up. Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. So when the beat is really grooving, it's love to feel your body move. I gotta get on. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Feel the groove, get on the floor. You all probably could hear me singing a little bit with the mic at the end. What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents. It is random. Gavin Richard Presents Random Topic Thursdays. As always, we are joined by our brother and friend, the author of The Man Crisis, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, and a whole bunch of other stuff. He's authored well over 75 books. Mr. Shawn James, who's here. Good evening again, Shawn. And
good evening, Gavin.
To all of our guest people in the chat that are watching this, of course, as I stated on Tuesday that the show was going to be pre-recorded, so please feel free to leave a comment. Please go live in this chat. Have 50 people, have 100. We want 1,000 people in the live. We want 10,000 people. Even beyond that, we want 100,000 people, Shawn. We want a bunch of people here. I know that YouTube has its algorithm that is messed up. A lot of things for a lot of Black content creators, but yeah. I've been persevering, still pushing forward, and I support. And I give my love and thanks to all that have supported me, from Black Voltron to Nikki Ivory to Nicole from Nicole's View, Star, a chick named Star, Darius from Atlanta, a whole bunch of people I can't even name. It'd be too many to count. We'd be here all night. But thank you all for your support, family. I really appreciate it. Let us go ahead, Shawn, and get started, because I know time is of the issue with us. But I wanted to talk about this because this was under the radar. Now, we remembered back in December, we talked about this. Clarence Avant, if anyone knows, he is called the Black Godfather. In particular, he's known for working and doing business deals with countless people, not just musicians like just Michael Jackson, Babyface, Stevie Wonder, just to name a few, but also he has worked with people also in movies. He's worked with politicians like Barack Obama, Black radio like with Danny Blakewell, bunch of people that you can think of he's connected to, and he's well respected. And tragically, he and his wife were the victims of an armed robbery and burglary, or an attempted armed robbery, and it was committed by this man here, as you see on your screen. His name is Aariel Maynor, and he was sentenced to, it says 150 years, but it's roughly 190 years in prison. Now,
We're going to go to CBS News in Los Angeles for the latest on this story. By the way, this is covered under the Fair Use Doctrine of in the Copyright Act of 1976. It allows for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So we're going to go ahead and play this right quick. Sean?
A Beverly Hills philanthropist was just sentenced to 3 life prison terms. Aariel Maynor pleaded guilty last month to several counts, including first-degree murder and the shooting death. The shooting happened last December during a robbery at the Truesdale Estate home that she shared with her husband, legendary music executive Clarence Avant.
So that's Aariel Maynor. Now, it's a brief video, but yes, apparently, so he was sentenced actually to 190 years in prison, and this was a plea deal that was made with the prosecutor's office and the defense attorneys. Now, other than that, if he had gone to trial, it would have been life in prison. But it really was. It's really, I don't want to call it a nothing burger, but it essentially still amounts to a life in prison thing. California, I believe, has done away with the death penalty. So he still would have been convicted. He still would have been sentenced to life no matter what. At 30 years old, Aariel Maynor pled guilty to first-degree murder and other charges in the murder of Mrs. Avant, Jacqueline Avant, who is a known philanthropist and 81 years old. So he pled guilty to first-degree murder, attempted murder, firearm possession, residential burglary for the killing of Mrs. Avant, and trying to kill her security guard, which is why that was another attempted murder charge. Now, he actually is, my understanding, he is a convicted felon. So he had firearm possession, which was added to that. And he used a rifle, which I believe is illegal up in California. If it's a certain style, if it's a certain size and so forth, they have regulations on that in the state. So listen to this. So under the sentence, this was imposed by Judge Catherine Solorzano, Mr. Maynor will not be eligible for parole. And he had been on parole at the time of the murder. So by the time he was out, he gets paroled and is let back on the streets and commits this heinous act. Now, what I found very interesting, Sean, and I don't know about you, is how was something like this swept under the radar that we're just finding out about it on yesterday? Like, I had no idea he was actually, if it's a plea deal, I don't know if his trial was set today. Usually they go through a rank. What happens is there's a bond hearing, then there's an arraignment period. After your arraignment, then there are motion dates that courts have, and things are set for trial subsequently after that. But this was swept under the radar. I never knew anything about it until yesterday evening. And I don't know about you.
No, I never heard about it until just now.
Yeah. Well, do you have any comments that you would like to say about this?
Well, it's looking to me like they really threw the book at this dude as related to a plea deal. But it seems to be quite questionable to me that they would give a guy this many years as related to a plea deal. It's like they're trying to turn this guy into some sort of fall guy, and they're using him to be the guy who takes the fall as related to this case. Because, again, I find it odd that in high crime California, you're going to have a guy go break into a home with a rifle and go and shoot this man's wife. I mean, that doesn't really fit the pattern as related to a burglar. Usually a burglar has their tools, and if they do carry a weapon, it's usually a pistol or a small handgun. They usually don't carry out rifles to do these types of murders. So when I'm looking at this case, there's a lot of things that are looking to be quite suspect. So this is looking like maybe there was some possible setup as related to things. And this sentence looks like they're just taking the fall guy, this Pookie, and they're trying to just tie up the loose ends by leaving this guy in jail for 190 years, but I doubt he will be able to even serve any of that time. I think what's going to happen to him is after he's traded for some Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, and cans of Dr. Pepper, he's going to catch a shank in the shower, and they're not going to be able to find out who did that. So it's looking to me like this whole thing is really quite suspect, and it looks like all the people in charge, they're just tying up a loose end, and they want to make sure that this loose end practically possibly winds up dead in prison.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this. So he admitted at the plea deal to allegations of not only using it's a long barrel pistol.
Yeah.
Because an AR, you have pistols that can come with a long barrel. I mean, you could technically have a gun that shoots 20, 30 rounds, and you could actually conceal it. It's possible, depending on what size it is and so forth, and how well it's concealed, of course. Sometimes some stuff isn't that concealed, especially if you're wearing tight clothing, and I can see the imprint of it. But from looking at this man, I mean, look, he admits to pleading to prior robberies from 2013 to 2018, and he was on parole for a robbery that happened in September. On parole, he was out back and released back on September of 2021. So you basically got back out and committed even more heinous crimes, not just a robbery. You murdered someone, a respected individual, a philanthropist at that, and almost killed another individual. And all of this, and you do it in Beverly Hills,
one of the most secure areas of California.
One of the most secure areas, exclusive areas. They don't let just anybody up in there. And I haven't been to California. I just know from what we've heard through history.
Yeah. Usually if a black person drove through there, they would notice them immediately. Yeah.
And then cops would stop you. They'd ask you if you're a rapper or a basketball player.
So this guy coming through, it just seems to me really like he was sent there to do some dirty work, and now they're just tying up the loose ends because they wouldn't have processed this case so quickly. I mean, think about it. This case was processed very quickly through the judicial system. Usually they take about a year and a half as related to these kind of cases, but they sped this one through the prosecutor's office very quickly, got it quickly through the courts, and got this plea deal practically done without any sort of media fanfare, which makes me believe that this is a possible something's being fishy about this. And this dude, again, he may not have much time in that penitentiary.
Now, and listen to this. Now, I'm reading this. His public defender was Marcus M. Huntley, who declined to comment on Tuesday afternoon. But in another sentencing memorandum, he didn't explain Maynor's motive, but he wrote that his client had become addicted to drugs after spending time in prison on robbery charges. They further say that the Beverly Hills police found Mr. Maynor had used a cell phone to research Mr. Avant, the couple's home, and how to use an AR-15 rifle. A few weeks after Mr. Maynor killed Miss Avant, he was recorded telling a friend on a jailhouse call that he had planned to take $50,000 from the couple's home. The memorandum states. He also laughed about the publicity he was receiving. He says, "Why are you laughing? That's somebody's life," his friend said. And he said 3 days later, he told another friend via phone that he expected a sentence of only 20 or 25 years, according to the memo.
That doesn't sound right.
George Gasson, the Los Angeles District Attorney, said today marks the end of a tragic case that rocked our community. Because of a completely senseless act, Los Angeles lost Jacqueline Avant, a community leader and philanthropist. So after the murder, a number of prominent artists, athletes, and politicians expressed their condolences, from Bill Clinton to Al Gore to Magic Johnson. Mr. Avant, he's a well-known music executive. He actually, one of the things he's most responsible for, he's most known for, is signing Bill Withers to his record label Sussex Records in 1969, which was huge. But yeah, may she rest in peace, and I hope the family finds closure. But I gotta tell you, I don't understand. He got to be the dumbest criminal in the world.
Yeah.
Because 3 strikes, you're in California, the 3 strikes law is in place. You do this after you get out paroled, you get paroled, you're only out 3 months, and you do this act. And on top of that, you expected only 25 years in prison for murder.
That's why I say it doesn't sound right.
Unless he didn't expect, yeah. Maybe he wasn't going in there to kill someone, but the fact is he did, supposedly. And yeah, something just doesn't sound right because that's a secure area. I wonder if Tariq Nasheed is going to talk about it tonight, but I'm more shocked at the fact, Sean, that this thing was swept under the radar like it was. You'd think it would make bigger news. Yeah. But prayers and our thoughts and prayers are with the Avant family. May Miss Jacqueline Avant rest in power. Amen. Next, Sean, I want to talk about this. Okay, this Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation. Now, everybody I think knows who Johnny Depp is and who Amber Heard is. Famous actors. They were married for a brief period of time, and their marriage was saying it was tumultuous. Tumultuous would be an understatement, I think. And a lot has come out, especially there's a trial going on for defamation that Johnny Depp has sued his ex-wife for because she wrote an article about being a survivor of domestic abuse. And the reason why he is obviously suing his wife, his ex-wife, I should say, for it, is because as a result of those she wrote this in the Sun, and as a result of those allegations, Johnny Depp has stated that he has not been able to sustain his previous career, the career that he had previously, because everybody thinks of him as a wife beater. So this defamation trial is going on. It's going on actually out in Fairfax, Virginia. Fairfax, which is home of what? Fairfax, Virginia is, I believe, the home of the Central Intelligence Agency, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. That's the headquarters. So I find that a little, not to say that the government has an interest in Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but I just thought that was interesting why in Virginia he was doing it. The lawsuit filed. So let me just give you the rundown. So they were in a relationship starting in 2012, and they were married back in Los Angeles in February 2015. And sometime in May of 2016, Heard files for a divorce and obtained a TRO, which is a restraining order against him, saying Depp alleged in return that she was attempting to secure a premature financial resolution by alleging abuse. Heard testified about the alleged abuse at a divorce court deposition, saying that Depp had been verbally and physically abusive throughout their relationship, usually while he was intoxicated with drugs and alcohol. Now, there was a large amount of publicity about the divorce because there were some images that were shown of her alleged injuries published by the media. And Depp reportedly paid her $7 million, which she had pledged to donate to the ACLU and children's hospitals in Los Angeles. There was also a non-disclosure agreement that was signed as part of the settlement, preventing either party from discussing their relationship publicly. So that divorce was finalized in January of 2017. But then what happens is that in 2018, Johnny Depp sued the News Group newspapers and the UK tabloid The Sun and its editor, Dan Wootton, for libel. And because 2 months earlier, the tabloid published an article which referred to Depp
as a wife beater and criticized J.K. Rowling's approval of Depp being cast in Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. So as a result of that, Depp was dropped from that movie, right? So he would have made obviously a lot of money, I'm sure, because he's still at that time. He was still at that time one of the most popular actors in Hollywood, especially due to the Jack Sparrow character from Pirates of the Caribbean. Those movies made billions of dollars with Disney. And I think as a result of it, too, he has not been in those movies as well. I think they've actually stopped them from being made as this is pending, right? So he sues, and then in 2019, he had sued her over an op-ed she wrote about being a public victim of domestic violence. That was published in the Washington Post back in December of 2018. Depp also again alleged that Heard had been the abuser and that her allegations constituted a hoax against him. She countersued, stating that he had coordinated a harassment campaign via Twitter and by orchestrating online petitions in an effort to get her fired from Aquaman and L'Oreal. That's the makeup development. Matter of fact, they have not actually had. There have been calls for her why she never was fired from Aquaman, Shawn. She plays the lead female character in the film. But I want to show everybody. So this is the second week of the trial. It started last week with Depp's side getting to start because he is the petitioner. He sued this, so they start with him, and eventually the defense will get their opportunity to present their case in an argument. But what I want to show everybody is, I guess, some clip of the testimony that happened today, because Johnny Depp is testifying. Now, there's a reason why I'm talking about this tonight, because this is a story I think men in general can learn, especially if you are a famous man. So, and even brothers that want to be in the entertainment industry.
Mr. Depp, could you please explain to the jury what's reflected in this photograph?
I believe that's
It's
definitely.
She looked like she out of it, huh?
Yeah.
After receiving kind of a roundhouse punch from Ms. Heard. I believe that this is March. I believe this is from what's been called a staircase incident. Am I correct?
So you said you think this is from March of 2015?
I'm just looking at the top.
Do you remember who took this photograph?
Mr. Bett, Sean Bett.
And relative to when you had injured your finger, when was this photograph taken?
Sorry?
Relative to when you had injured your finger in Australia, when was this photograph taken?
Now, let me pause it right there. What they even allege, Johnny Depp has even said too, is that she threw a vodka bottle at him, causing him to cut him so bad when he put his hand up, it severed the tip of his finger. In fact, his own doctor testified how they had to scramble to sew it back up. A chef actually found it. Now, I want to just play, let me finish playing a little bit of it. This is some audio.
Exhibit 343. And for the record, this is an audio recording. It's quite lengthy, so we intend to play certain portions of it.
Any objection? No objection other than just like a 1 minute, second. Okay, but the entire audio is in evidence, correct?
Yes.
No objection?
And then
3:43.
if you'd like me to read the specific minutes now, or we can provide it to council afterwards.
If you want now, or as you go. Okay.
We intend to play minute 25, 37 seconds through 26, 28. 1 hour and 57 minutes, 21 seconds through 1 hour, 58 minutes, 54 seconds. 2 hours, 38 minutes, 52 seconds through, 2 hours, 38, 52 seconds through 2 hours, 39 minutes, 43 seconds. And then 2 hours, 46 minutes, 1 second through
Oh
2
God, this
hours,
is long.
47 minutes, 20 seconds. Those are 4 clips. Okay. Thank you.
You'll publish this as your. It is. It's just audio.
Let's see if we can speed it up. Hold on.
Okay. That's the promise you gave me a little while ago. I'm telling you, if you lost memory last night of kicking me out the door with the fucker hitting me,
Again,
and
sorry.
and your memory is gone from you kicking the bathroom door and hitting me in the skull as I was bent
Again,
down.
I am
Wait,
sorry.
if you have those memory fucking
I was upset. There was a lot going on, and I was on an Ambien. Like, why are you obsessing over the fact that I can't remember it the way you remembered it? I said I was sorry. I didn't deny it.
I'm not talking about that.
So what they're doing is fast forwarding and only recording certain parts. That's what the lady attorney announced earlier.
Before it gets worse. In Australia, when I had the big fight where I lost the tip of my finger, at least 5 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms I went to. Two.
We're talking.
To escape the fight.
You don't escape the fight. You escape the solution. You escape the solution.
No.
You escape figuring it out. We cannot work it out if you run away to the bathroom every time.
Listen to me. The boxer can't go 12 rounds without a fucking minute break.
I'm not giving you a minute break. You do it at minute 3 at the beginning of an argument.
No. There are rounds, man. And when it gets too fucking hairy, the rest splits them apart or whatever. But all I'm saying is, you can't have a solution if the argument just keeps mounting and mounting and mounting and mounting. I fucking go into the bathroom and sit on the floor. Bam, 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 here you come. I come out. Fight, crazy, escalated. I go split again, I go to another fucking bathroom or bedroom or something. Knock, 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 bang, bang, bang. You kept coming to get me.
I'm gonna stop it right there, Shawn, just from what you've heard. I know you haven't followed it, and there's even more parts. I mean, Johnny Depp even talked about how he found feces in his bed. I believe I didn't hear that testimony. I'm assuming he's testifying against her, saying she had something to do with it. I'm assuming, but I have not seen that. But it's just a big mess. This seems like both of them got problems. Both of them crazy.
Yeah.
On drugs, and then she's a nut beating up on him.
You know, all of this is nuts, but he's saying he's never hit her. And you listen to the audio, I guess that was of her when she was admitting, I'm sorry, but this whole situation looks bad, Shawn. But at any rate, what lessons, what are your thoughts on it? And what lessons do you think men can learn from this? Because I even think this is going to be, this is another thing that's going to set the Me Too movement on its head.
Yeah, well, listening to that audio, it shows me that this Amber Heard is what I'm talking about in my upcoming book, The Woman Crisis. And it shows how your females have way too much power in this society because your Amber Heard is out here just out of control. She doesn't know where the boundaries are. And she just continues to escalate the arguments with Johnny Depp from his own words. And I've seen this happen with many sisters in the inner city. Sadly, they don't know when to leave the man alone. And when you have a female like this, what she wants to do is get the last word in, and she wants to be able to say what she wants to say. And when the man walks away, it just makes her more angry, and it makes her want to go out here and act even crazier. So what happened to Johnny Depp was he got involved with one of these, as I call it, feminist type female predators. And what happened to Johnny Depp was he was stuck in the relationship with this feminist type female who was just completely out of control. And he didn't know how to set a boundary for this female. And things just got worse as the relationship went along. And then eventually, what this type of female, in many cases, what she'll do is if she can't get you to hear her, she'll just start going to law enforcement to try to get them to force you to have the relationship on her terms. So your Johnny Depp just got into a really bad situation because he really didn't understand one of the concepts men need to learn about women, and that is how to go out here and vet women. Now, a lot of your guys in Hollywood, they always go for the woman based on her looks, based on her appearance, and Amber Heard had that hot look that many of these guys like Johnny Depp and Will Smith love to get with. And they love that kind of guy that female based on their looks. And what happens is these guys get in these relationships with these females based on their looks, not understanding that your so-called hottie will turn into a Ms. Hyde. Now, these females, yes, they have a lot of looks as related to their appearance, but what happens is a lot of these women are ticking time bombs underneath because a lot of these women were on the casting couch. A lot of these women were out here having sex with a lot of different producers and directors, and that has really affected their mental health. So you have guys like Johnny Depp thinking, oh, this woman is going to be wife material. It's going to be good for my image. But this woman is a ticking time bomb as related to her mental health, and she just is completely unfit for marriage. And when you have to live with this kind of woman, she's just going to make your life absolutely miserable because she wants to have power over someone because she feels powerless about her life. So a lot of guys will get involved with this woman thinking, oh, she's an actress, she's hot, she's sexy. And the lesson for men here is you have to really be careful about who you get involved with because a lot of these women, they have a good appearance as related to their looks, but their values and their character are a complete mess. So you have to be very careful about who you get involved with and who you further pursue a relationship with. Because if you pursue a relationship with the wrong female, she can make your life absolutely miserable. And that's what happened to Johnny Depp here with this Amber Heard. He thought, oh, I hit the jackpot with this young, attractive actress. But this young, attractive actress had so much mental damage from just going through the casting couch in Hollywood that he could not have a healthy relationship with her. Because I've seen this happen with a lot of black females. They just get loud, argumentative, out of control, and when the man is walking away, and they want to get the last word, and that's when the argument turns into domestic violence because the woman wants to get that last word at any cost. So if she can't get that last word, she'll start going to get physical with the man. And once she gets physical with the man, that's when the whole relationship really starts to deteriorate So when I look at this whole situation with Johnny Depp, the lesson here for men is, yeah, she may look good, but the relationships are more than looks, because if this female's values and character aren't there, you're going to be in a relationship with a real crazy person, because that's what your Amber Heard looks like as related to these allegations. She looks like a truly one of these domineering, emasculating feminists who wants to have control because she's insecure. And that's not somebody you can have any relationship with. So most men out here, you have to really think about who you're getting with before you get with them, because if you get with the wrong one, you may be winding up in a situation like poor Johnny Depp is in right now, one where you just feel like you're in a trap, and the only way out is basically it's a nightmare situation.
Yeah, it is, and I think that you look at him, he looks like he's even out of his freaking mind.
Yeah,
like this, he's like this bitch didn't. She
It's the same
literally got him smoking. He's smoking dope out the window like that Bruno Mars and that Silk Sonic song.
It's the same thing as that Will Smith is going through right now.
Will Smith's is going into rehab, Sean.
Yeah, because they get involved with these female predators, and these female predators, they're female chameleons. What they do is they put on a nice face in the beginning, but once you marry them and move them in, that's when the monster comes out.
Right. She doesn't show her true self until you're married.
Yeah, that's when she just starts to show you who she really is, and once she shows you who she really is, that's when you're in for a nightmare. And that's why most men don't get involved with actresses or models or people like that, because they know that if you get involved with this female, it's going to be a disaster. And they know that they already know that this woman has been around the block, has been passed around by producers, been passed around by agents. And most people know what this woman is as related to her mental health, but only those guys who get caught up in their feelings about these kind of females, they get involved with this woman and they live to regret it.
Yeah. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. What do y'all think about old Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? And Sean, the fact that, we have seen some men who get accused of stuff with Me Too. I think the comedian, did the Army of the Dead, and they replaced him with this lesbian comedian, Tig Notaro. But his name, the guy's name, it escapes me, but they actually replaced his character. She replaced Chris D'Elia because he had some Me Too allegations. They replaced him out of the movie, the Army of the Dead, because he had sexual misconduct allegations. But yet Amber Heard has been accused of abusing this man, and she's not been fired from Aquaman or any of these movies.
Well, there's a clear double standard as related to these type of cases, and because of feminism.
These are allegations, I should say, because she hasn't been charged with it, but still.
Yeah, as related to these allegations and our gynocentric court system and our gynocentric legal system, it always gives the woman a benefit of the doubt, and that's why these women get a pass for their reckless and egregious behaviors, because the courts always take the woman's side. And we really need to get some balance to our judicial system, because these women are completely out of control these days. And I talk about this in my book, The Woman Crisis, where I talk about crime and the woman crisis. I do several chapters talking about crime and the woman crisis. And all we do by giving women passes is encourage and enable their bad behavior. And if your Amber Heard gets away with this, all that's going to do is, like in the case of your Maya Ponsetto and these other Karens, encourage and enable this behavior, because men don't hold the line as related to that behavior. And if men came out of the way to hold these females to a standard, we would start to see a change in this behavior. But because too many men in the courts and too many people in the courts give the female a pass, this is why we're seeing more and more of this behavior, and it's escalating, because many of these women have not been taught to respect a man's boundaries, respect a man's rights, and respect a man and his place in God's order.
All right, no doubt about that. So, so hit that like, share, and subscribe button. What do y'all think will happen with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? Sean, do you think he'll win this suit? Or, it's still got a few more weeks to go.
I don't know. With our gynocentric court system, they love to give females like Amber Heard a pass because that's the way our court system is. We really don't hold women accountable for anything in this country, and that's the reason why we see more and more women like Amber Heard just going crazy, because we don't hold them accountable. And that's the sad part about this case, is I fear that it's going to end with her getting away in some shape or form. But I'm hoping that we don't get that as a legal precedent, because we've had some bad legal precedents, like with your Alvin Bragg, who gave Maya Ponsetto that pass, and that coward who, Christian Cooper, who gave Amy Cooper a pass, not understanding each time you give one of these women a pass for their bad behavior, all you do is encourage them to participate in more bad behavior. If you want to stop this type of abuse, as alleged in the Johnny Depp case, we have to hold a line and hold women to the same line that we hold men to.
All right. So, fair enough. All right. So our next story, ladies and gentlemen, is operator error is suspected in the death of a teenager at Orlando theme park. Now, if you recall, last month, I did a story. It had been trending about a brother, young kid, I believe from out of St. Louis, Missouri. His name is, I can't believe it. I'm trying to find the young dude's name here. Tyre Sampson, out of St. Louis. Big guy. He's actually a football player who tragically died after falling from appeared to be over 60, nearly 60 feet from a 430-foot drop tower. It's a freestanding drop tower, and you see these at rides all over the court. In fact, there was a recording that was circulating
Operator
on YouTube
error
about it. So we go to ABC News. They're blaming this on operator error as the primary cause of Mr. Sampson's death.
Suspected cause of an accident on this amusement park ride in Florida. 14-year-old Tyre Sampson died last month after falling from the ride at Icon Park in Orlando. Investigators have now released a report claiming the ride's operator made manual adjustments to Sampson's seat, allowing the harness to be loosened, apparently to accommodate the boy's size.
These misadjustments allow the safety lights to illuminate, improperly satisfying the ride's electronic safety mechanisms that allowed the ride to operate, even though Mr. Sampson was not properly secured in the seat.
The ride's operator has not been publicly identified.
Oh, man. So, what's essentially happened, good singing there. So what they're saying is this was operator error. Now, Sampson weighed in excess of 300 pounds. And according to State Representative Geraldine Thompson, she said at the news conference that the manufacturer's guidelines for the free fall specifically say the maximum weight of a rider is 250 pounds. So Tyre should never have been on the ride to begin with. And essentially, they're saying, according to their investigation, this is coming from the Florida Commissioner's Office, Nicole Freed. She states here, the forensic engineer who wrote the report said his conclusions were partly based on an examination of the ride, video of the incident, and a reenactment using two individuals, one 6'3" and the other 6'5", and both weighing respectively 200 and 300 pounds. So what happened is that during the slowing of the ride, Tyre Sampson slipped through the gap between the seat and harness and fell to his death, according to the report. It says here, during our investigation, two individuals were positioned in a seat with an open ranging from 6 to 10 inches. Both individuals were able to slip through the restraint opening without assistance. So in other words, ladies and gentlemen, they fucked up. He should not have been on this ride. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, especially in lawyer terms, I hate to say it like this, but cha-ching.
I don't want to characterize because a young man's life is taking a teenager, a kid. And no amount of money that you can give can bring that child back, no matter what. But this is a major, major lawsuit. And I think it will probably even change guidelines, if any. I mean, the guidelines are already there, but discretions of operators, they're not going to have that discretion anymore. They can kick people off, Shawn. So
Yeah.
something like this is sad, but uh, he shouldn't have been on there.
And if they had qualified staff, he wouldn't have been on there.
Yes, and this was in Orlando's free fall attraction at Icon Park. That ride is permanently closed as of now. All right. So, Shawn, did you want to say anything? And I should point out the engineer's investigation concluded there was no electrical failure or a mechanical failure either.
I'd have to say this is human error, and it really shows what happens when you go out here and you try to hire people on the cheap. Because when you hire people on the cheap, they cannot go out here and maintain your standards and maintain standards for safety. Because if these guys were over the weight limit and over the height limit, they definitely should not have been allowed on the ride. And I would think there would have been safe fail safes as related to safety if those harnesses did not lock. And I definitely wouldn't have locked on a heavier person. Those guys should not have been allowed to come on that ride. So this definitely was a serious case of human error. And it's the kind of case of human error because many people, when they hire people at these amusement parks, they hire the people with the lowest wages. They don't really train them very well. And a lot of the people aren't really trained to vet these kind of situations. And sadly, this led to the costing of this young man's life because this young man clearly was not a good fit for this ride. He was not a good fit to be on this ride at all. And if there was some qualified staff, they would have probably told these guys, look, you're too big for this ride. You're not meeting the weight limits. And I think that there also should have been some sort of fail safes to make sure that the ride does not activate if the things don't lock, because that would have saved a lot of lives, saved this man's life, and it would have made sure that he wouldn't have been able to get on the ride because the ride wouldn't be able to turn on without all the harnesses being in a locked position.
Yeah, and I mean at 6'5", and you can tell when you I saw the video of them strapping him in, that this was off of his body. Like it didn't look like it was properly locked in, to say the least. And tragically, that's what killed him. So we'll keep monitoring this story. It's tragic that this happened to this young man, Tyre Sampson. Brother, rest in peace. You always hate to see that when it's especially a 14-year-old.
Yeah. I am sorry for this young man's loss, but somebody should have looked out for him at 14 years old. Yeah, somebody should have said, hey, you just don't meet the weight requirements for this ride. I mean, when I was a kid and I used to go to Coney Island and ride Playland, there were weight requirements, there were height requirements. There's certain things certain rides you just couldn't go on. And you just sucked it up because you realize, hey, if I go on this ride, I'm going to hurt myself. And somebody should have just sat down and explained it to him. Okay, this ride is just not for you.
Yeah. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. And we got the final topic for tonight. And I'm wondering, since I've appealed my demonetization, whether I should even talk about it. But I'll be careful with how I say this, but I think I'm safe with this one. So this past Easter, it's for celebrities, obviously, to tell us their business and then complain about people talking about why you're all up in my business. But Dwayne Wade's daughter and her new boyfriend, and I have that in air quotes, were out with the family celebrating Easter, and they posed for some photographs. Now, many people have clapped back at Dwayne Wade. You remember? Oh, excuse me 1 second. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm still doing my live stream.
Oh,
I'll be off in a minute.
okay.
Okay. Sorry about that. So what I was saying, Dwayne Wade's, they took some pictures and everybody's been commenting on it. Have you seen this, Sean?
I've seen a picture of him and his boyfriend, and it's it's disturbing.
Well, what they're saying is that so his real name, Dwayne Wade's son,
Yeah.
name originally was Zaire. Now he goes by the name Zaya and is a trans daughter. And his boyfriend, trans boyfriend, actually is a girl. And his name is now Hudson.
Mm.
And they're sharing this, and what most people are talking about is not so much the sexuality of it, but the age as well, being that they're both, pre-teenagers, teenagers. And you have Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union taking pictures with their family, with these kids, sharing it on social media, and people are calling it out. I remember when they had when Zaire, or he's known as Zaya now, was actually in a dress, a purple and gold dress for Kobe Bryant's memorial anniversary of his death. And Kwame Brown even called out Dwayne Wade for that. So I wanted to know, Sean, I think I'm careful. I'm not saying anything bad, but when you have teenagers involved like this, like I don't remember even when I had a girlfriend, my parents didn't reach for a Kodak picture to take a picture with me and my girlfriend. Kissing and booed up. That wasn't a no.
Yeah.
That was stuff you did in private. Now everybody is clout chasing. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I believe it's very inappropriate to have a 14-year-old boy taking pictures with whatever partner they're involved with. I mean, I remember being 14 years old and I was a shy kid and I didn't really want my business out there like that. I mean, I don't think it's appropriate. I think anything that this couple does needs to remain between them, especially at a young age, because your relationships are supposed to be about you and your partner. They're not supposed to be about other people. That was one of the big problems I had growing up in junior high school and high school. People wanted to make your business their business, and it is not appropriate because it teaches you a dysfunctional way to have relationships, and it teaches you an unhealthy way to have relationships, because instead of you being focused on your partner, all you're focused on is attention. And with the case of Zaya, he or she has been focused on attention for many years, and it's all about them chasing the clout on social media, not building any sort of relationship as related to who you're going to get involved with. And that's what I'm seeing here. Is just, again, it's a very inappropriate pattern of behavior, because I believe nobody should know about your relationships but your partner. And when you have people going on social media like this, it just shows that your relationship is more about chasing clout than building that intimate relationship. And it's just something, again, I believe at a 14 years old, you're just not mentally or emotionally ready for. I mean, I remember, again, at 14 years old, having people harass me about having a girlfriend and stuff like that. And it really stresses you out, because you're not having the relationship. You're not thinking about having relationships for your own reasons. It's all about other people. And when you have to have relationships for other people, it's not a healthy thing, because all it is it takes you down the road to the paradigm of a simp. And the paradigm of a simp is where every relationship you have always ends in failure.
Yeah. This is just I think this was just too much for me
Yeah.
to see that. Dwayne Wade, I've always suspected Dwayne Wade being on some shit low key. And of
Well,
course it's not just even Dwayne Wade. I mean, I saw Magic Johnson. You see Magic Johnson on the red carpet with his son?
yeah. It's all about pushing that agenda that I will not discuss because I want you to get your monetization.
And it's not, I mean, a kid.
Yeah.
Well, he's not a kid, but he's huge.
Yeah.
He's
But
huge, and he's 6'4", and he's 6'4" wearing heels. I'm sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
yeah, it's all about pushing that anti-black man agenda where we're going to emasculate and humiliate the black man because when you put the black man in this position, he's in a position where he's not respected. So this is more of that anti-black racism where we always show the effeminized black male with a non-black or a white person. And again, the white boy is the male in the situation and he's the female. Again, it's all about pushing that agenda once more. And that's another part of this that's not appropriate as related to development. You're not seeing this boy, in a place where he can be who he wants to be. It's like they're pushing this stuff in the media just to push it for the sake of pushing it. And I find it just interesting. It's always a black boy in this position.
I mean, well, let me ask you something. What is there anything wrong? Is there something wrong with people that criticize it? How do you respond to people?
No, there's nothing. I don't think that there's anything wrong with people.
Wait, let me finish, Sean. Well, let me finish. What I'm saying is, what do you say with people who criticize it? For instance, like people that are criticizing Dwayne Wade, people that are criticizing Magic Johnson, they're labeling you a hater. You're a hater if you don't agree with this stuff. Now, that's Magic. That's his son. That's Cookie. That's his mother. Those are his parents.
Well, I can't say you're a hater. I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion, and you're not hating anyone when you see issues as related to these kinds of relationships. And in the case of Zaya, I see issues as related to the way this child is being raised that are showing a pattern of dysfunction. And you're not being a hater for expressing your opinions on it. What I see is people trying to suppress other people's opinions, and that is a dangerous thing to do because you need to hear a counterpoint on things, not just hear that there's only one opinion, because that sends you into a world where you're in an echo chamber. And people who are in echo chambers, what happens to them is they don't get that other side of the story, that other side of the world. And then when they run into that world, these people fall completely apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even with Magic Johnson, like he said, he was worried. We got to be worried about our image as black men. I'm like, man, you ain't been worried about your image for a long time.
No. I find it interesting he wants to talk about the image of black men when he hasn't really done anything as related to the image of black men.
What do you mean by that exactly?
I mean, I look at his life. I mean, in the beginning, he didn't really do a good job as related to personal life. I mean, he had to deal with having the HIV virus, and then he has the issue with his son. So he hasn't really presented a positive image of black manhood or black masculinity overall as related to being a leader or being a head of household overall. So he can't really talk about the image of black men because he hasn't really done a good job of being a good image of black men, like being a steward under God's natural order.
Did you ever watch him? I mean, you were a big basketball fan back then in the day.
I didn't watch much basketball in the 80s when he played. I was more of a comic book and fantasy kind of guy. So
I should know. I understand, but yeah, man. Well, Sean, I told you it would be an hour. I would keep it that way, but yeah, man, this is the craziness that is Random Topic Thursday. It's just all of this stuff that's going on in today's world as we navigate as black men our future and the direction of where we're going, because this is what they want brothers to be. This is what they're pushing.
Yeah. They want us to be soft, emasculated, effeminized, weak, passive males. They don't want to see strong images of masculine men.
Right. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Also, donate to the Cash App at Gavin Richard Esquire. Also, donate to Google Pay, PayPal, and Zelle. You see the tickers at the bottom. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, let us also support our guest by buying one of his books, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Shawn, what is going to be your topic Friday for your live stream? You do this live stream every Friday at 10 o'clock.
It's usually 11 these days.
Well, it's 10 o'clock my time.
All right, 10 o'clock your time. But 11. The live stream, I think, is going to be about the good guy and how being a good guy isn't good for men.
Okay. And you all can get books such as Stop Simping in Cyberspace, as well as the Man Crisis, and coming soon, the Woman Crisis, I believe the fall of this year.
Yeah.
Shawn will have that ready. Speaking of my book, I'm actually doing the final edits on it this week. I was adding actually a little bit extra that wasn't in it. I noticed a piece about Bill Cosby that needed to be in there. By the way, Shawn, I wanted to let everybody know I have been in touch with the one and only King Flex, aka Tariq Nasheed. I've told him about my book, and he said he's very interested in reading it. I mentioned to him he's actually in the book, which you guys will see. And it's important that we have books on, he actually spoke to Dr. Cosby over the phone. They continue to slander this brother, but we got to be the ones who protect his legacy. We have to be the ones that go after the truth, because we cannot have others who do not look like us tell us the narrative when they are biased. No more of that. So please, if y'all want to support, go to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. Facebook page at Commonwealth Cause, subscribe to that so you get the latest updates, ladies and gentlemen. And I will be back on Sunday to do another live stream, or if there's some mainstream news, we'll break in, we'll do that and talk about it. Also, please go and get you some Nani's Creole seasoning blends, Nani'sCreoleBlends.com. Shawn, you enjoyed it. Everybody else that ordered has enjoyed it. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nani's goes great with every dish. And of course, check out our music at Video Soul, as well as Gotta Get On Up, which is our theme song. If anybody is interested in advertising, you can send something to the email. You can also subscribe to our Patreon. Shawn, I have my comedy videos actually up on Patreon, where everybody could check that out if they're interested. So if you like to subscribe to the Patreon, it's channel GBoo2786. Please do so. You can look at it. Some content I won't put here on YouTube. So you guys be safe and be blessed. Shawn, thank you once again.
Thank you for having me on.
All right. And Shawn, if you could, before I end the broadcast, if you would stay on, I had a question I want to ask you off air.
All right.
All right. This has been another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel GBoo2786. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now get on out and get on up. I'll holla. Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll go. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what's to my surprise now,
The beat takes hold of you. Now if you feel like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. It's time to get your body moving. Gotta get up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Pour earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four chords. Electric slide on two. Hit the bus stop, undo the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you feel it like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. It's time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor.